Hello, everyone. It is the 22nd of September. September is already almost over. How about that? Craziness. Seems like September just started yesterday. But anyway, it is the 22nd. It's time for the question of the day. It's not been too bad of a day so far. We saw the new God's Not Dead movie. I have the fifth installment of that franchise. I'm going to say this. Excuse me. I'm going to say this. Not a bad movie. However, I don't think it was near as good as the first two. The first two movies were freaking awesome. Three movies, whatever. I liked all three of the first movies. I haven't seen the fourth one yet. I kind of skipped ahead to this fifth one, and which is why I don't really want to give it a review, because since I skipped it, to me, I thought this movie was good. I just don't know if it was as good as the first three. The first three were great. But it seemed like in this one they're kind of reaching a little bit, and I think they more or less came out with it because they knew it was an election year, and that's kind of what the movie is about. So I think to get people to go out and vote. So I think that's more or less what the movie was really targeting, is trying to get more or less Christians to go out and vote. So, I mean, good movie, but I think that they've had better ones in the franchise. That's just my opinion. But anyway, we still had a good night out. I mean, a good day out. We took Angela's mom with us, and of course, anytime you've got family at a theater, it's freaking awesome. Oh, we had a great time, and yeah, had a good time up there in the city. We got us some good food after the movie was over. We went to Cracker Barrel. So, but now it's time for the question of the day, and I do have sponsors. We have here the highlights. Here is Panther. He's watching the highlights, and then over here we have Daisy Duke. Chiefs are currently down 14-13 or something like that at the half. Oh, the yawns! But I'm sure the Chiefs will bounce back. It's only halftime, so. Alright, so moving into this. So, the question of the day. Question of the day. Alright, September 22nd. Are you always late, early, on time, or late? A wizard is never late, nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he is. That is, I had that on a t-shirt once, and I'm going with it. I am never late, nor am I ever early. I arrive precisely when I mean to. Sounds like a good answer to me. Because here's my thing. You're never, I don't care who you are. You could say most of the time you're early, but you can never say you're always early, nor can you say you're always late. Well, I think some people can probably say they're always late. I stand corrected on that one. But I don't know if you can always be early. Shoot. So, and nor can you always say you're on time. I think everybody's has been late to something at least once. So, in their lifetime, at least once. Keyword is least. At least once. But so to say I'm always any of those is bogus. I would say for the most part, I'm usually on time. But there again, I know I know when I first started dating Angela, I was actually pretty much always late. So thank God she didn't hold against me. When I came to work, I was on time, but we came to, for some reason, when it came to picking her up, sometimes I was running a little late. So, like I said, she never held it against me, thank God. But yeah, there were times. There were times. I'd say lately, though, because that's what the question is asking me, I guess, or whatever. I don't know. But like I said, lately, for the most part, I'm on time. I haven't had any issues, even when picking her up or whatever, no issues. But yeah, I'd say when, at least when we first started dating, and I think there's a few times, at least a few times throughout that I can remember where I was running a little late. It happens. It was mainly things that would happen around here miraculously that would make me late. Like I would be planning, I would be cooking us food, for example, and then I'd go and pick her up in Warrensburg, bring her back here. So basically, we could just Netflix and chill for the night or whatever. And basically, I would just miss, because I was kind of new to all of that. I would kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? I would have poor timing, I guess, with it, because I didn't realize that it would take a little bit longer to cook. So there would be times that I might be running a few minutes later than I wanted to, because it took longer to cook the food than I realized it would. So, or I had an instance where I had to go looking for a cat. I think there was one time, and I was running late because I had to go looking for a cat because Panther or Patches, whichever one it was, decided that it might have been both. I don't know, but I kind of remember where I had to go out looking for a cat. So I think that made me late once. I've had a couple instances with Daisy where I was running late, but I can't remember exactly what it was. Basically, stuff that you can't really plan for, but things happen. I think most of the time, though, when I was running late, it was probably because I was doing something to get ready for our date, and I think a lot of times it had to deal with cooking something, and I just misjudged my time, and when I did, because I'm kind of new to it, and I didn't realize that some of that stuff that I would be cooking would take longer than what it did, and then next thing you know, I'd be running late. Which then she gave me a hard time about running late, and I was like, well, you know what? I'm gonna crave the day when you get a new vehicle, and you know, then you can come to my house, and I don't really have to worry about picking you up. You can just show up here, and then we can eat. Which now that she does have a car, we've had less and less of me running late. So, but yeah, that might have had something to do with it. But no, some of it was just me. Even if it wasn't me cooking, it was just me misjudging time. Had a lot to do with it. Just thought something whatever it was I was doing at the house at the time, like I just misjudged the time, or I didn't have my phone on me, because a lot of times I'd have an alarm that would set off to let me know, like, hey, it's time to get ready, and my phone may be in the house, or I may not have set it, and next thing you know, I'm running over, and I'm like, oh shit. So things like that. But like I said, I've gotten a lot better as time has gone on. So I don't here lately I've been on time, so that's a plus. Not necessarily early, but when it comes to some of those things. Actually, I take that back a lot lately, because I think some of it's actually rubbed off on from Angela. So here lately, I've actually been more early than late. Well, I mean more early than on time, but I can say I've been at least on time. But if not on time, then early. It's been usually one of those two things, but I hardly ever lately am I late. And I think a lot of that's because ever since she moved in, anyway, a lot of that has kind of rubbed off on me, and I've kind of figured out ways, to manage my time better. So just by watching her, I think has helped out a lot in that regard. So I don't really have as much of a problem as I used to. Like for example, it used to be when I would go have doctor's appointments, I know I would be running a tad bit late going to those doctor's appointments, maybe about 5-10 minutes, just so I get there, so to speak, where they're not yelling at me. But I think there was one time where I was a half an hour late, and they told me, like, yeah, if you this is your first warning, just to let you know, you get like 3, and then after that you gotta go see another doctor, kind of thing, because you're running like 30 minutes late, and that's really hurting everybody in here. And okay, I understand. But yeah, I think that was the only time that's ever happened at a doctor's where I was running that late, but usually about 5-10 minutes. But ever since, like I said, since she's been here, not only have I been on time to doctor's appointments, but I'm usually there at least 20 to 30 minutes early, just in case they can kind of squeeze me in early so I can get out early. I know there was one time where they had to do a blood. All they had to do is basically just do a blood test. That's all I went in there for, is just a random blood test. And they told me as soon as they could get me in was 3 o'clock, and I was like, okay, no big deal. But we were in Warrensburg already, and we were killing time, and I think it was right around maybe 1 o'clock, because I could not, basically is where I could not eat anything until I got my blood test. So I guess it was 2 o'clock was my appointment, something like that. And it was running, but anyway, we were like right around noon, something like that. We basically were trying to kill as much time as we could. We were both hungry because Angela was kind of fasting with me. And that's when we said the heck with it. So I shown up actually probably about an hour or 2 hours early that day to get my blood test done so I could go eat. Because at first they told me, like, well, we may not be able to get you, we still may not be able to get you in that early, just so you know, because, you're scheduled for like 3 o'clock. Like, well, I understand, but, or 2 o'clock, whatever it was. I told him, like, well, I understand that, but I'm running out of stuff to do right now, and I figured if I just come right on in, I'm less likely to go get me a snack because I'm getting really hungry. And not too long after that, they're just like, you know what, we're just going to get you in. So, it's one of those situations. So I got in fairly quickly, and I was able to go ahead and get what I needed to from the doctor. So I was happy about that. But yeah. So I guess I could say, saying that, because at work here lately too, I'm usually early. Usually I'm early, but there have been times where I've been just on time. But I haven't been, as far as late to work, I haven't been late to work in a while. So I'm just going to say that. There's times when I'm early and there's times when I'm on time, but hardly anymore am I ever late. Although it does happen from time to time. It just hardly ever happens. So, and I'm very pleased with that. Those marks. So, and like I said, I do attribute a lot of that to Angela and my current relationship, because, like I said, had it not been for her, I think a lot of times I would be late. But because of her, I'm usually either on time or early. She's just kind of, I can't describe it, but she's just kind of helped me manage my time a lot better than what I did before I started dating her. Yeah. That's my answer anyway, so I'm sticking to it, and I'm 14 minutes in on answering this, so I'm going to let it go. But, yeah, that is all I got for you guys for the question of the day for today. And I will see you guys, well, y'all see me on the next video. Whether it be tomorrow's video for the question of the day or tonight's video for the tarot card deck, or which one I guess now will probably appear tomorrow. So, anyway, y'all have a good evening or day or wherever it is that you're watching this, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace out.